All right. So, folks, Dark Brandon. That's all I got to say. You already know. Dark Brandon, baby. He's here. He's alive. He's near. He's an ever-present threat in the minds and hearts of conservatives. He's always there, even when you're not aware. Now, one thing that Dark Brandon has done in the new IRA bill is hire 87,000 new IRS agents, target regular everyday Americans, stop Biden's shadow army, says Senator Ted Cruz. Now, what I find to be particularly funny about this is that, like, there's a lot of conservatives out there doing self-reports about how many, like, small business owners are engaging in tax evasion, I guess. Don't know why they chose to openly state this. But it's, like, pretty funny that, like, every single conservative has come out and complained about 87,000 new IRS agents. Now, the reason why they're doing this is because the IRS is severely underfunded. Their systems are so outdated. They still use fucking floppy disk out there, like, for protecting files. Ben Shapiro on that racist shit for real.
Massive contract.
Oh, yeah. We'll look at Ben Shapiro, Brittany Griner. But before we do that, let's take a look at what Senator Ted Cruz is saying. To hunt you down and take your money. Stop the Manchin Schumer bill. Stop Brandon's army. Now, this unironically is pretty funny, in my opinion. Like, they're making him look cool for some fucking reason. The easiest way to sell this is to be like, no, the reason why we can't go after rich people and the IRS goes after, like, broke middle class people and hit them with audits is because we just don't have the undertaking that required to go after the wealthy. So that's all you need to say to justify it. Be like, no, we're gonna go after wealthy people who are using loopholes and filing taxes inappropriately and incorrectly. You know what I mean? And then boom, you sold it. Now, will it actually happen? I don't know. I do think that the IRS does try to go after whoever it fucking can. And whoever they can is usually like upper middle class folks, doctors, lawyers, people who are high earners overall that don't have the legal loopholes that are afforded to the wealthiest individuals in society, and that don't even need to, like, take advantage of, like, LLCs and whatnot in an effort to hide their assets, because all of their assets are tied to massive corporations like Jeff Bezos and shit. So we'll see what happens. Where I worked part-time for $8 an hour and those motherfuckers came after me. The IRS does not go after rich people because they don't have the resources to do so. Yes, but the IRS really does come after small earners too. In 2015, 2016, and 2017, the IRS audited me without cause and made me pay several thousands more in taxes when I only earned between 50 and 60K a year. It was really rough. No, I know. Part of the reason why the IRS goes after small fish is because the big fish have already set the game up and set the rules up in a way that benefits them anyway. So hopefully this will create institutional change within the IRS as well. I owed them $5K out of nowhere after they gave me money back 2 years ago. So we'll see what happens. Pay your taxes, chatter. No, I mean, even if you pay your taxes, you might sometimes end up making a mistake. We're being audited for our 2020 taxes because both my spouse and I claimed the education credit when going back to school. Also great. So the way that this works currently is that we've talked about this before. No, but I don't want to talk about that right now. Hold on. Let me just go through this, Marat. Did you know that there's a bunch of stuff about UFOs, whistleblowers, and Black Project oversight in the House's National Defense Authorization Act? Real dark Brandon hours? Yeah, okay, I don't know about that. It, for the record, and this chatter is correct, it should not be our job to figure out how to pay our taxes. That is 100% correct. Countries like Norway quite literally already file your taxes for you and send you money back at the end of the year. Or vice versa, send you like a receipt basically. Now, the only reason why we can't do that, here in the United States is because of lobbying. Lobbying on behalf of companies like H&R Block and numerous other third-party, TurboTax, the companies that provide third-party private tax filing systems. Intuit is another one that is a multiple billion-dollar industry at this point. They like getting money from the government to be the subsidiaries that file your taxes for you, and they make it seem as though they can do it for free. But actually, they're not doing it for free. They 100% are trying to charge you, and they do regularly charge you all the time. Intuit is TurboTax, yes. So, yeah, 80% of new IRS revenue will come from small businesses earning under 200K, says tax experts. That is a reactionary newspaper, New York Post, creating propaganda against this new bill, for the record. That's what this is. If you're going to send me a fucking New York Post article saying with the tax experts, understand what the motivation is behind writing something like this. Anyway, a key provision in the Inflation Reduction Act, which throws away $80 billion to the IRS, throws an extra $80 billion to the IRS to improve the agency's collection of underreported income, will end up targeting small business owners to pay for the legislation, according to nonpartisan watchdog Joint Committee on Taxation. The group estimates that between 78 and 90% of the estimated additional $200 billion the IRS will collect will come from small businesses making less than $200,000 annually. Just 4% of the 9% will come from businesses making north of $500,000 a year, meaning the legislation is in sharp contrast to Biden's longstanding claim that he wouldn't raise taxes on anyone making less than $400,000. The hidden truth under this, for the record, nonpartisan watchdog, watchdogging taxes is not a nonpartisan issue. Unless you are literally anti-tax, which, I guess if you're an American, you are. Okay? So, here's the beautiful part about this. Don't hide your assets. Like, this is an admission. If this is the reality, then it's an admission that small businesses making less than $200,000 annually are regularly trying to fucking hide their assets or hide their income or, do some fuckery. Dudes praising the IRS is like praising the cops. They're all a bunch of class traders that help the state to fuck over regular working class people. Fuck them, in my opinion. How do you think this machine of the state is supposed to operate without being funded? That is a ridiculous fucking take, dude. I am not an anarchist. I am not an ANCAP. That is so fucking silly. I want the IRS to do what the IRS is supposed to do, which is ensure that people pay their fair share, which is to ensure that they, get people to pay their taxes. A lot of these systems are incredibly unjust, and people try to fucking take advantage of that as best as they can. That is ridiculous. It's ridiculous to be anti-tax. How do you think shit's going to get paid for? How do you think roads get paid for? I want to ensure that the well-funded government actually, make sure that those coffers pay for good things like public schools, pay for good things like roads, pay for good things like public transit. Problem is they don't. Yes, they do. They 100% do. So much of the government operates in a way that you cannot even comprehend, in a way that you take for granted, and worse, in a way that you think private corporations are filling the void. It's just that in America, there's a constant public-private partnership that makes it seem as though the incredibly expensive, not-for-profit government initiatives, like GPS, for example, will turn over to the hands of private corporations. So you end up thinking it's actually Google that's operating the fucking satellites in general. And yes, while the government also is doing a lot of horrifying shit, like funding ICE, funding police for no reason, giving additional funds to the police, there is profoundly important things that the government does that you take for granted. There's a reason why you can safely go and, for example, purchase food at the grocery store, okay, at the supermarket, at the Walmart, wherever the fuck you go, and not live in fear that the food that you're going to consume is going to immediately kill you. Yes, certainly lobbyists have made sure that there's enough microplastics in there that will give you cancer later down the line, and that's a systemic problem that we need to solve. But, you know, at least it doesn't kill you immediately with like mad cow disease or some shit. Okay? How the IRS is raising money and not recovering stolen money in this article? Yeah. But unfortunately, Americans have such an anti-tax perspective, no matter what part, no matter where they are, that they refuse to comprehend how this operates. Most of you are taxed with W-2s, and yet you still have this like anti-tax attitude. When if your primary earnings are coming from a W-2, this doesn't even fucking impact you. Okay? And that's the hilarious part about this. Like this is not going to impact you at all. And yet you have been sold a lie. It's no different than the estate tax. And people freaking the fuck out about the estate tax. When the cap for the estate tax or the minimum wealth for the estate tax required impacts like 15,000 Americans. You know what I mean? Now especially. Like just such a minuscule amount. And yet everyone thinks like, oh, I'll have inheritance. No, you won't, dumbass. No, you won't. Thank you, Nayu6187 for the 10 gifted subs. Conservatives have done a great job of convincing their poor followers that they don't massively benefit from taxes. Find the reason we need a better IRS. U.S. government's 2021 revenue versus expenditure. Individual income taxes, Social Security and Medicare, corporate income taxes, miscellaneous revenue, custom duties, excise taxes, unemployment insurance, estate gift and taxes. Versus the expenditure, income security, Social Security, health, national defense, Medicare, net interest, commerce, housing credit, education, general government. Look how small it's getting. Veterans benefits. More and more. So you're already fucking funding the government. Look at the corporate income taxes. You're already funding the government like a motherfucker. Okay? You're funding the government all the time. So the IRS can't necessarily come after you anyway because unless your boss is engaging in some kind of fuckery with your W-2s and the way that they're like not paying your taxes, in which case you're still fine. Your boss might not be. Do you understand? But if you're a wage earner, if you're a wage laborer, this does not impact you in a meaningful capacity, okay? The IRA would allow an IRA direct free file program. Such program would allow taxpayers to file their taxes directly with the IRS for free. Each year, Americans spend 2 billion hours and 30 billion filing their taxes. A direct free file option will be offered with the IRA. I didn't even know that this was a part of the provisions. This is beautiful. This directly strikes at the heart of the TurboTax lobby that have made billions of fucking dollars making your tax system and your filing system more complicated, specifically so that they can be the mediator. When, ironically, no such mediator ever needed to exist. You get it? This is great. The craziest part of the chart is the large health spending portion with how shitty our healthcare system is. Yeah, well, the reason why our healthcare... Dude, America famously spends the most on healthcare and gets the 37th best results out of all of the OECD nations, okay? Yes. Part of the reason why we pay the most for healthcare is because Big Pharma, it has a stranglehold, just a gorilla grip coochie that the government loves being inside of, okay? That's the reality. That's part of the fucking reason. Big Pharma is part of the reason why our healthcare system is incredibly expensive. Hospitals are also incredibly expensive as well. Private hospitals that still completely rely on voluntary donations from wealthy people and also from, government subsidies to operate, turn around and try to increase profit margins, turn around and try to at least fund their hospital system in some way, shape, or form. That's also part of the reason why, rural areas do not have any fucking medical care, no adequate medical care. That's why we've talked about this many times over, but in places, in rural places especially, EMTs are the only form of healthcare that you can get within reach. It's crazy. The country is fundamentally broken. Okay? Yeah. And then they also obviously are playing fast and loose with your information. Remember, Intuit, the company behind the large tax filing software, agreed to pay restitution to customers who were charged when using its free tax filing software. They were charged when they were not supposed to, and they had to pay out $141 million to customers after a class action lawsuit. They also regularly have leaks of your data. So there's another part there too. There's another issue there as well. So, big oopsie there.